Um, okay, so hi to everyone who couldn't make the live session. We have around 8 people in the room, so they'll be here for the Q&A, etc. You guys just to hear my wonderful dulcet tones. This time not in stereo as we fixed the audio issue. Okay, so today's session is about developing good habits. I need to share my screen and seamless. Okay, everyone can see my screen? Lovely. Okay. Okay, so a lot of us are off season or starting off in just early base season. So we have a bit of time. And so what is another good use of this time? We did talk about sort of taking time off, resting, trying new things. Another element of off season is actually a good time for kind of good habit forming. And what we have there, what I mean by what sort of habits, it's sort of like looking at things that we normally have problems with later on and actually hold us back from actually doing good training, getting into good routines in terms of sleep and sort of and getting good quality sleep. Hydration and nutrition is key. Now I will put my hand up. I've already said that, we need to um let us slide a little in off season, which is fine. But there's a certain amount of, after a few weeks of eating pizza and drinking beer and all the rest, you'll want to start easing back into the good nutrition habits. And that's a lot of stuff in terms of learning prepping, etc. And we'll talk about how you can approach that now. Or the things that you can do in terms of which will be beneficial to your training routine when we are stuck in the middle of a structured session where you're trying to figure out where you're going to go swim in the morning or bike in the evening or whatever it is. And knowing in terms of having good routines and structures and sort of plans for when you're doing your stretching, your foam rolling, your Pilates, when does it fit in? Where you're going to do it, etc., etc. So these are good habits to have. And therefore, if you can start embedding them now when you're not under the stress and duress of actually a big kind of trying to fit everything around the training session, it kind of forms a good foundation of your house. Mark, is there any other good habits you think we should, which would be beneficial, that pop off the top of your mind?
Yeah, just probably a couple that, if you've got niggles that have been not hampering your training, but just giving you little bit of concern, or things you just push into the back of your mind because they're not really niggles, it's just a little twinge now and again. They're a good time to go and see the physio, you know, get an updated, S&C program that, that's gonna help whatever that niggle is. Or even just go and see the physio for a mobility assessment. Good time of year to, work on what that mobility, what your restrictions are, and, get a physio to give you that program that you can work on over the quiet months and spend a bit of time on that.
Yeah, really good point. Your rehab or your functional strength program that addresses the weaknesses comes your good habit that you're trying to form. Okay, I'm gonna add this to my slide. Your good habit. Okay, and as I said, why now? As I said, it's easier when you're not stressing about the 2 hours, the 1.5 hours you have to squeeze in during the midweek, or the 4 hour bike, or the whatever it is, an hour and a half run, etc. You have a little bit more time. And if you embed in the habit, it'll just happen naturally on top of when you do have the additional training load. The other,
As well as that, Steve. Yeah, I mean, for swimming as well. I mean, swimming is so technical, and we focus so much on, hitting the pool, hitting the speed sets, hitting the times, and we're constantly looking at the clock. This time of year, just take a session and dial it completely back and just focus on, getting as streamlined in the water, getting a perfect catch where possible. We can all make improvement. Well, I can I can certainly make improvements in the swim. And I typically use this time of year to try and make those little advancements where I can, and try and take that forward into the next season.
yeah, no, that's true. And like a good habit would be a technique. And what we'll talk about here is a way of actually sort of embedding that in. So as I said, why now? A bit more time. You're not under pressure about numbers. You're not under pressure about getting things done. And you've also got more mental time to get your head around things, to plan things. And as we'll talk through a little bit now, you'll see that it's a lot about prep. It's a lot about kind of just like removing temptations. It's a lot about sort of rewarding yourself in the right way, which again, all take time to kind of organize. And if you do that now, when you've got your head a little bit more capacity, it will help. Okay. So we all know, and I'm pretty sure all of us have formed really bad habits over the years. I personally have a vice when it comes to anything sugary. I tend to eat it. And I have much more bad habits than I have really good habits. And I on that line of thought, I actually read a book from James Clear called Atomic Habits. And again, disclaimer, I've stolen a lot of this stuff, but he makes a lot of sense. And he's all about it should be as easy to embed a good habit as it is a bad habit. That's his kind of whole premise. So this is how we will talk. Now, again, I will use an example of he uses 4 principles, and he talks about make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. And again, I like the example of, we should all eat more fruit and veg, right? Which is fine. So, but what does that mean in terms of his principles? Like, so he would talk about if you're making it obvious, and it's as simple as you leave a bowl of fruit each time you pass the kitchen. So instead of going straight to the fridge, you pass the fruit and it's screaming at you there's a nice shiny apple. And as opposed to, oh, I'll go with that option. So again, and like, for example, if it's stretching, if you leave your foam roller beside the TV or beside the couch, you have to literally lift your foam roller off the couch to down. You go, oh, I'm going to use a foam roller. So make it obvious and almost unavoidable to the point you have to make a conscious decision, go, I'm not going to do that. And in the back of your mind, we all know what the right thing is to do. He talks about making it attractive in terms of like eating a ton of broccoli isn't the most exciting thing. And it's not something you're going to wake up in the morning and go, yes, ton of broccoli. But he sort of talks about, again, link it to a reward that, and link it to the or feedback the desired outcome. Why are you eating the broccoli? Because it's going to help you got to get the right vitamins and minerals in your system rather than a thing of chips as such. And then you sort of, and if you do eat all the broccoli and you kind of you also see that your weight over time is coming down, and so go all moving in the right direction. And then maybe the reward you get then, and I've talked about this before, if you do hit certain weight goals or you hit certain, eat enough 6 or 7 greens each like for a whole 28 days, that you buy yourself another garment. I bet again you link it to it, you make it into a reward, because typically the good habits are never really sexy and exciting, but if you link it to something that will be down the line. He also talks about making it easy. I find this more easy too, because I find this a little bit linked to the make it obvious. I think it's a little bit more make the opposite behavior unattractive or hard to do. So back to the original example of eating more fruit rather than cookies or whatever. If you don't buy cookies or don't have them in the house. So if you were going to go, oh, I'd love something chocolatey, and the only thing in the house is fruit and berries and healthy stuff, and you go, oh, I have to actually get in the car, I have to drive down to the 7-Eleven, and I have to buy myself cookies, and it's a 10-minute drive and 10-minute back. It does make it less of an option that you're going to go there. So I find it make the opposite behavior unattractive. The other thing as well, he talks about making it satisfying, and I think I like the concept of almost gamifying the behavior or having an accountability buddy. And when I talk about gamifying the behavior, I guarantee you everyone knows how many days in a row that they've got all their greens in their garment and greens in the training peaks, right? And you sort of go, oh yeah, I need to get like 2 full weeks, and it becomes self-fulfilling. You go, yes, that's great, I feel good about that. Or streaks, like how many days in a row have you eaten whatever five fruit or veg, or you have to literally have a competition with your friend, and you go, or your accountability buddy, and you go, listen, what was it? I'm having a bad day. I'm thinking. He goes, no. If you do that, we'll break our joint streak. So you make it satisfying, as in like, and then you go at the end of the like, and then links it back to the reward. Where's it going? Sorry, no, Jason, it's going to ask questions. What do you have no weight goals and just eat anything? That's wait. I think it may not be a weight goal you're looking for, but it might be an energy goal. As in, if you're doing a training for like an aggressive 17.3 target, if you're eating crap, you're essentially putting diesel fuel into a Ferrari. But your outcome is having enough energy, and was it sort of up and go to hit all the targets, so that's your outcome. And again, the outcome may not be, as I said, weight loss or it's more linked to the triathlon behavior. I want to be injury free this season, and go, okay, how that's again back into make it attractive. I know when I do 10 minutes Pilates every single day, and I've done it for a month, I was actually injury free for that full half of the season. I kind of stopped it, and then I suddenly started getting the hamstring injuries again. So you link it back to what the big goal is for triathlon wise. Mark, do you have anything else to add on that? I don't want to hog the entire call, or does that make sense?
No, it all makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And for me, as I said, there's some other things on top of the reading the book from James, as in, I found that a positive action is way easier to embed than a negative one. So, for example, if you want to make a good behavior of not eating any chocolate in a day, that's quite difficult to measure. You sort of go, okay, right, because you're only at the end of the day, but actually, you know what? I didn't eat any chocolate. That's another tick in the box. There's another day in the streak. Whereas the opposite behavior of it is, if I eat 3 pieces of fruit a day, and you go, actually, and which will have the effect of you kind of filling up keeping your appetite under control, and also giving you good healthy food, and also suppressing the candy cravings. So I like to give myself positive behaviors rather than negative ones. Back to his make it attractive. I do reward, and I said, but don't. It's sort of giving yourself a reward for not eating any chocolate for a week, or, as I said, or eating fruit, was it 3 times a day, or drinking whatever 2 liters of water, is very, very admirable behavior, and it will help you to kind of keep your body weight composition, energy levels up. But don't reward it for like eating 2 tubs of Ben & Jerry's as a result, as in you're undermining the actual the behavior and the outcome you're looking for. Another thing, and I am really, really bad at this, and I am very bad at making the spelling. Don't catastrophize, as in, so for like, I might be going for, just keep away from eating junk, eat more green than brown, very simple rules. And then I'll find that I've gone to a conference or something, and I'm not even thinking, and I've ended up eating a load of these little brownie things that they're hanging out, and go like, oh, I've broken it for today. And then you end up like, and just trying to eat your body weight in the brownies because they're there and they're free. Except that you will have little slips, but they don't sort of take that as an excuse just to let the whole thing go and go, oh, that's this whole day gone. Oh, I'll start again next week. Oh, that's this whole week gone. No. Except you'll have minor setbacks. Track and monitor. Again, for the good behaviors, I have this streaks app, which I have, and I have kind of keep again, it becomes quite this back to the gamify piece. I need to do stretching before I go to bed. If I don't, by the way, my back ends up in a heap. But I also like to kind of do the stretching, and it's just 5-10 minutes to stretch, but I have to remind myself to do it. And then you press the button, and it gives you keeps your streak going. So like I'm up now at like 28 days in a row of stretching, and I'm terrified of breaking that streak. So I just want to go, yeah, let's keep it going. Other stuff like that, as I said, was it minutes that you can track minutes of Pilates, even in Training Peaks. You can see how much time strength and conditioning adds up. And again, you'll also be able to look back on that and go, okay, when I did 3 days of yoga a week in without 15 minutes, and it meant that I was injury free for that whole 2 months. So do keep a track of it, because it's only when you stop doing the good behavior and the bad outcome happens, you go, oh, why are my hamstrings at me again? You go, actually, look back. It's because I actually stopped doing the yoga, and I haven't done the yoga for around 2 weeks, or I don't do my stretching before I start off it and getting back into the pool. So, so that's, again, as I said, the book I would recommend. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I will show you later on. It goes into more. The whole logic is very simple. I've used it to get into place some very good habits. I'm still trying to eliminate some bad habits. But like, for example, my breakfasts, my lunches are always very healthy, and just because I've just made it easy, I always have the right foods in the fridge. I have a set routine. I get up, and I have a set pattern of behavior, and even that will happen in terms of I eat my breakfast half an hour before I do my main session. I come back, I'll have my salad kind of just after my main session. I have a protein shake. All these things I had to embed, and I used his Atomic Habits book to put in place, and they actually have helped me a lot in terms of keeping kind of right race weight, kind of, and like injury free, etc. So that's the main premise of today's presentation, and I'm going to stop the recording, and we're going to have a quick chat about anything else. Okay, guys, for the people who are watching on the channel, thanks very much. Please make hopefully you can get to the next session, which is going to be Mark talking a bit about nutrition in terms of what we should eat and what we shouldn't eat. Oh, and by the way, and here is the book. It doesn't show up. James, here we are. James Clear, Atomic Habits. I don't get any commission, but it's actually a bloody good read. Okay, we'll just stop that and have a quick chat around the houses. Okay.